Section 1.4, Solving Absolute Value Equations. The first example I'm going to do is 3x minus 4 absolute value equals to 5. But before we do that, let's review the absolute value. If you have the absolute value of x equals to 5, then this x will either have to be a 5, because the absolute value of 5 is 5, or a negative 5, because the absolute value of a negative 5 is 5. So this is the same thing. Here we have something else equal to the absolute value of 5. So we know that the stuff inside the absolute value will either be 5 or negative 5. So we have two possibilities. We have to work both of these out. So we'll add 4 on both sides, solving for x. And we get 3x equals 9. And we divide by 3 on both sides. And that gives us 3 as one of the solutions. And you can put that back in and check it. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 4 is 5. And the absolute value of 5 is 5. So let's go ahead and do the next one. We add 4 on both sides. We get 3x is equal to negative 1. And x will equal to, we divide both sides by 3, negative 1/3. And you can check that one. It will also work. So we have two values that will satisfy this absolute value equation. Okay, the second example is really the same thing. It's just a little uglier. We have the absolute value of this quantity equal to the absolute value of this quantity. So the stuff in the absolute value, the x plus 5 on the left, will either exactly equal the same number that this works out to, or it will equal the negative of this, just like we did before. Okay, so on this one, since I have the larger x on this side, I'm going to subtract the x and move the x to the right. And subtract the 1 off. And I get that x is equal to 4. And let's solve this one. Don't forget to apply the distributive property here and get that all the way through. So we have x plus 5 equals to negative 2x minus 1. Since this is a negative x, I want to bring it over by adding 2x on both sides. And I get 3x. And I'm going to go ahead and subtract off the 5 at this point on both sides. That gives me a negative 6. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So I divide 3 by 3, I get 1. Divide that by 3, I get negative 2. So we end up again with two solutions. You usually get two solutions, not always, but usually get two solutions to absolute value equations.